Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. My name is Silkyfeather and you can call me Silky. Here we go, part 10.
He was always talking about himself rather than trying to learn more about you. He suggested cuddling very early on in the relationship. That's code for free sex. He didn't have a car, a place, or a job of his own and tried to infringe on yours. He insisted on not using condoms. Now you have to raise a child alone or deal with other issues on your own. I won't lie, dating modern men has become a bit of a chore, at least in my experience. I have a theory that something happened around the year 2000, a shift in dating dynamics. As I mentioned earlier, I think it may have something to do with the fast growth of the internet. I liken dating nowadays to searching through a pile of rocks to find a gem. Values and morals in this country have declined significantly over the past few decades, no doubt about it. Media influences have played a role. No longer do you have a plethora of responsible men like your father or grandfather to choose from. There are a whole lot of rocks and not as many gems to choose from. Sort through that pile of rocks carefully. Check a few signs to quickly separate the wheat from the chaff. If he tells you he's horny and you don't know anything about him, that's a rock. Toss him. He has 5 baby mamas and no job? Toss that rock over your shoulder and quick. All that he can talk about is his ex? That's a rock too. He's not over her yet and will run back to her as soon as she finds herself in a jam.
Huh.
Toss him. Picking up a rock is like going to the store, picking up a broken or damaged product, and then wondering why it doesn't work when you get it home. You'll stare at it for a while trying to figure it out, but ultimately it will just become a paperweight, a burden, the longer you don't take it back to the store. Why buy something that's broken? Why force a relationship with a broken man who won't work in more ways than one? It's better to be patient. Shop around until you come across a man that's just right for your needs. This is not to say that a damaged goods man can't ever fix himself, but he's going to have to step his game up and thoroughly polish himself into a gem before you allow him into your life. This is less and less likely to happen the older he gets. Remember, it is not your job to fix or change a grown man. More signs that you've encountered a rock. He has 69 or some other sexual reference in his screen name or email address. Sex is his only goal. Toss him back.
For
He makes a
real.
sexual reference to you and you haven't even gone out on a date yet. Toss. He doesn't have a job or money of his own. Toss. He asks you out and expects you to pay for your half of the bill or the whole bill. Either he is too cheap or doesn't value you enough to treat you to a date. Either way, that is the very first act of disrespect, and there will be more. Toss. He can't look you in the eye at all. Toss. He lies about small things. Toss. He openly lusts over other women in your presence. Disrespectful. Toss.
Toss.
For a first date, he suggests coming over your house for movies and cuddling. Toss. He whines and complains about women being gold diggers, bitches, or hoes. Toss. He gets angry at the drop of a hat and can't manage his emotions. Soon he'll be taking it out on you. Toss.
Toss.
He's always talking about himself and never shows a
Toss.
genuine interest in your life. Toss. The longer you keep entertaining the rocks, the more you're wasting precious time that could be better spent checking out other,
Absolutely.
much better guys, the gems, who have more potential as boyfriends. If you're serious about having a meaningful relationship one day, don't waste a minute of your time with rocks. They are worn down by life and have the potential to hurt you really badly. Watch out for those smooth, shiny pebbles, too. They seem attractive on the surface, but really you're just holding on to a good-looking rock. And also be careful you're not passing up a gem who looks a little rough around the edges at first. The gem guy may not look that shiny to you at first, but if you dust him off a little, you may reveal his true brilliance. Hold on to the gems and give them a chance to prove themselves to you. Gems are guys who are realistic in their expectations of a woman. They aren't looking for a rich, perfect supermodel who cooks, cleans, and performs acrobatics in bed. They understand that people, including themselves, are perfectly flawed and come in all sorts of packages. They can love and appreciate the right woman beyond her looks, sex, or status in life. Of course, these gems are hard to find, but if you concentrate on drawing that type of man into your life, He will eventually show up. Set high standards for the men in your life.
Oh dear. What's going on? My cloud is buffering, maybe? I'm sorry.
The gem guy may not look that shiny to you at first, but if you dust him off a little, you may reveal his true brilliance. Hold on to the gems and give them a chance to prove themselves to you. Gems are guys who are realistic in their expectations of a woman. They aren't looking for a rich, perfect supermodel who cooks, cleans, and performs acrobatics in bed. They understand that people, including themselves, are perfectly flawed and come in all sorts of packages. They can love and appreciate the right woman beyond her looks, sex, or status in life. Of course, these gems are hard to find, but if you concentrate on drawing that type of man into your life, he will eventually show up. Set high standards for the men in your life instead of lowering yourself to theirs, and watch how they scramble to meet them. It's human nature. Guys who don't like their mothers. There is one type of rock that you should toss as soon as you identify him. The guy who absolutely hates his mother. A man's feelings for his mother will eventually rain down on you. This is a fact. This is science. Men learn how to love women by first loving their mothers. Men who hate their mothers have a hard time loving anyone for that matter, and are more prone to being abusive. There's no need to discuss this much further. Just toss the rock. Do not waste your time. But I didn't know he was bad for me. He seemed great at first. Have you ever heard a woman say this? Have you ever heard yourself say this? Single mothers who have deadbeat children's fathers often say this. The truth is that she didn't take enough time to get to know the guy before sleeping with him. As I was taught, men are always on their best behavior when you first meet. They will always seem like princes for the first few dates. They will be on their best behavior right up until you have sex. Then the act is over. The true him will come out, whether it is good or bad. This is yet another reason why it's important to have a bond with a guy before sleeping with him. You have to peel back layers and learn much more about him than what his favorite food is or what he likes to do for fun. You should know how he interacts with his mother. You should know if he's a substance abuser. You should know what kind of friends he hangs with. Are they hateful womanizers? You should know everything possible about his previous relationships with women. If he has children, you should know how often he sees them and if he supports them. You should know if he has ever laid hands on a woman and his criminal background. Some women date men with long criminal records and don't even know it. How is he going to be an asset to your life and the life of your kids if he will be in and out of jail? Here's a clue. If he can't get a regular job at a mainstream business, there is likely a reason for that. Not to say that you should shun a man who has a past, but you need to know that it is firmly in his past and that he has a good, trustworthy character going forward. While I'm over here picking through the rocks, my friends are getting married. Change your perspective. Getting married isn't that hard. In fact, it's pretty easy if you're willing to lower your standards. Women lower their standards all the time just to get married, which is why you really shouldn't envy married women. Chances are good that she picked up a rock, dusted him off, and put him right in her pocket. A lot of women will settle for a guy that they aren't that attracted to, or a guy who is in and out of prison, or a guy who is unemployed and frequently out of work. Some women will even buy their own ring just so that they can say that they're a missus. The question is, do you really want to be one of these women?
No.
Probably not. You are a smart, sensible woman who wants the best for herself, which is probably why you are still single and picking through those rocks. Finding a great guy who is just right for you takes time and patience. You should take your time, date, and get to know the guys that you're dating before you choose to settle down with one. Can't say that you weren't warned. Countless women fall victim to games and become angry and bitter at men because of it. But it's not them, it's you. You are allowing it to happen time and time again. Recognize the poor choices that you're making in men and then stop making them. Maybe you should put a little less weight on those top 2 items on your list of needs, protection and money, for the time being, and shift more focus onto the third point. Is he a potential friend and confidant? Take the time to find out if the guy has the capability of caring deeply for you as a human being and friend before giving him anything that he desires. Remember, there's no ring on that finger. One mistake that I repeatedly made when dating was to pick up a rock that I thought was a gem, stop looking, and merrily skip away with that so-called gem, which was actually just a pretty rock, in my hand. Not long after that, I'd open my hand to reveal that my palm was all cut up and dusty. The rock falls to the ground. I trip over it and land flat on my face. Going this process hurt me so badly that I didn't even want to go back to sorting through the rock pile at all. Do you follow the metaphor? In other words, I would find a man that I liked, settle on him too soon, and then completely stop dating other men. Great guys would approach me, but in my mind, I was already in a so-called relationship.
And that's where we're going to cut it off today. You have a good one. Be kind to one another. Thanks for stopping by to Silky Feathers Nest. Part 10 of Let Him Chase You by L. Lynn Gilliard. Thank you. And come back again. Bye-bye. Silky Feather signing off.